Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, a great most honorable well, and shalom to the elect that are listening and learning and growing in these last days. And I want to do a little piece on this article, and it says, this is from the Telegraph. It says, world plunging towards societal collapse as era of cheap money ends. Hedge fund Elliott hits out at central banks as prices spiral. I'm going to hit on bits in this article and go into the scriptures, man, to show you that, the time that we're in and the time that we're going into, okay, as it said, prices are going to spiral. We're going into the time of inflation and hyperinflation. We're already seeing the telltale signs of, economic downfall. But what's that going to cause? That's going to cause riots, looting, and uproars of the people. Okay? To the point where there is going to be a societal collapse. Okay? They're going to be the emergency systems. There's going to be all out chaos. The emergency systems that are set up for these different cities and, for society in general, okay, are not going to be able to take on the sheer chaos of the people just being lawless in uproar, man. Okay, and that's going to cause what? Martial law. And that's all in the scriptures. So what I'm going to do is, man, I'm going to go into the, to these scriptures and break this down. Okay, I'll read a little bit more of this. It says, the global economy is on the path to hyperinflation. Now, what's hyperinflation? Okay, inflation is caused by what? When you've got the value of the currency that is being used, okay, when that goes down, the value of it, its purchasing power, okay, is weakened, man. So, for example, let's say that bread, okay, I'll use, pound sterling as an example because I'm over here in the UK, okay. You got bread, right? Let's say bread, at one point, let's say that you could get bread for 20p, okay. 20p is, let's say 25p to make it easier for the sake of the analogy, the example. 25p, that's a quarter of a pound, okay. That's a quarter of £1. You look at the pound sterling today as very close to $1. Okay. At one point you could get $2 for a pound, but now, £1 will get you just about maybe $1 and a couple cents. Right? Showing you what the weakening of the pound. Okay, the monetary system in the UK. Now it says hyperinflation. Now, with the example I gave, with the bread is what, let's say that the bread was 25p, okay? And I remember a time a couple years ago, not say a couple years ago, I remember when I was going to, I was in the world and I was studying, school, and you could get bread for even cheaper than that, okay? So let's say you get 25p bread. Now, the same bread that you would have got for 25p now is 5 times or even 6 times that. Okay, you might have to get it for £1.25. Most times it's about £1.25, depending on the quality of the bread. Okay. Now, is that because the price of the bread went up, or is it because the purchasing power of your money went down? Okay. Another example is, you hear where people were buying houses. Okay, here in the UK, in this 30s, 40s, 50s, people were buying, or even not too later after that, people were buying houses for 20, 30, 60, 70 pounds, man. 80 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds. Okay. 100 pounds ain't nothing, man. You could spend 100 pound, you could buy, I don't know, 200 pound will get you a cheap fridge. Okay. Talking about a whole house, bedrooms, all of that, man. That's what people were buying over here in the UK. Different places around the world, but I'm using this as an example because I know. All right. So it puts it into perspective. Well, in fact, no, I'll tell you this. Okay. Quick testimony. I remember when I was working, when I was about 18, 17, 18, around them ages. Okay. I was working a part-time job, and my manager, okay, he told me that he bought a house. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was something in the thousands. Like it might have been, something under 20,000. Okay, maybe under, might have been the price that you'd pay now for maybe a small car, a small new car. Okay, he bought a house with that, man. Let's say it was 7, 10,000 pounds. Okay, he went and bought a house with that. Now you want to buy a house now, you're looking at minimum, depending on where you are, man. You're looking at minimum 100,000 and up. Okay, you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper. Okay, let's say certain parts in UK, let's say 70,000, 80,000, whatever. Right? You don't want to talk about London. London, the cheapest you're gonna start off with is like 250, 300K, man, and that's for a lousy little one bed. Okay, in the worst neighborhood. So, you know, these things have what changed over time. All right. Now, I use the bread as an example. Now, it's going to come to a point where that bread, I gave an example of going up sixfold. Then you got hyperinflation, where that's thing is that the purchasing power of that money is lowering so quickly, and that the value's currency, the power of that currency, sorry, is being devalued so quickly that you can't even purchase everyday things with it. Okay, you got examples of that in Venezuela, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I'm gonna get the scripture. You got the examples of that in places like the Weimar Republic, where people walking around with barrels of money, okay, burning money. You got examples of that modern day. You got it over in Venezuela. You got it in Zimbabwe, okay. Turkey are teetering. They're on that. They're I'm watching news reports, okay, of like every day people buying stuff on the street. They can't afford to live. Okay. You want to talk about the cost of living crisis over here in the UK? Hey man, it's been real bad a lot of places in the world. So now it's starting to hit, these Western countries, man. Okay. And the reason ultimately for all of this is the Revelation 13 and 16 prophecy, the MOTV prophecy, because this economy does need to be crashed. Chaos does need to ensue for them to bring about a new system. Okay. Now this is the time, one of the times that we're in. This is Revelation 6:6. It says, and I heard a voice in the, let's start from, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now where it says a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny, now when you go into that penny, okay, going back to the Roman times, okay, a day's wage for like a soldier, okay, would have made up to that penny. All right. So a measure of wheat and 3 measures of barley for a day's wage. Okay, you think about a day's wage now, you think about how much you make in a day. Okay. Now imagine that just it says what a measure of wheat. What's wheat used for? Wheat you can be used for bread. Okay. And I gave bread as an example. Imagine that you wanted to go buy bread, or you wanted to buy flour to make the bread or whatever, or the ingredients. Okay. And imagine it costs you a day's wage, man. That's, we're going into we're going into crazy times. We're going into times where things are going to get really out of control. Okay. You're seeing what's happening with the gas prices and the electricity prices that they're hiking up. Okay. They're saying, oh, well, the war in Ukraine, because of supplies, everything's being affected. Okay, so it's all coming in from different angles, man. All right, let me go back to this to this. It says Elliott Management, the hedge fund founded by Wall Street billionaire Paul Singer, hit out at central bank rate setters in an apocalyptic warning to clients as rate setters bring the era of ultra cheap money to an abrupt end. Okay, and these central banks are owned by who? The international banking elite. All right, these central banks are pivotal in setting up the new system. That's why they got the digital banking currencies that are being set up, and that's all leading to the MOTB. Okay, which is that C-hip, that implantable C-hip. I have to say it that way. You got to work it out. C-hip, put that together. We got to speak in code, because as soon as you start saying it normally, okay, these videos start getting taken down, man. So we got to be tactful with the way that we're saying this, okay, to get around these algorithms. Says the world economy faces an extremely challenging outlook, and hyperinflation could result in global societal collapse and civil or international strife. And that is exactly where this place is going, man. All right, and there's many scriptures, and I'm going to get some before we end this lesson. Central banks are being forced into rapid interest rate rises to tackle inflation, with the rate of price growth hitting double digits and a 4-decade high in the UK. 4 decades now, we're in between 2020, looking back at 1980. Okay. The US Federal Reserve, no, I don't want to read that, I want to keep reading down. Stock markets have already suffered a tough year as the global economic outlook darkens and interest rates are pushed to levels last seen before the financial crisis. And this reminds me of a scripture. Bear with me. Isaiah. Pretty sure it was Ecclesiastes. Right, 12. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. All right. It says, and the grinders cease because they are few. What's the grinders? Work, jobs. Okay, a lot of people are going to be laid off. A lot of people are being laid off, man. Okay, it's going to be scarce. It says, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So the outlook for the economy, okay, is not going to be good. And that's part of what this guy's saying here, man. This hedge fund manager, all right, is saying what? Stock markets have already suffered a tough year as the global economic outlook darkens. Okay, and interest rates are pushed to levels last seen before the financial crisis. Okay, so it's already there. It's going to get worse than that 2008 crash. But Elliott believes that investors should brace for a seriously adverse unwind of the everything bubble. People like to talk about the dot-com bubble or the housing market bubble. This is the everything bubble a bubble's about to get burst because of the number of frightening and seriously negative possibilities. The everything bubble refers to the surge in a range of investments, including stocks, bonds, and house prices, since the financial crisis, after central banks left interest rates at rock bottom levels for years and cranked up the printing presses under quantitative easing. Okay, and leaving the interest rate at rock bottom for years meant what? Debt. A lot of people got into debt. Mortgages, loans, credit cards, cars on finance. Okay, a lot of debt, man. Okay, and quantitative easing meaning what? That they were printing money and lowering the value of that currency, the purchasing power. All that leads to what, man? Okay, you got people in debt. So they're already in debt. It's getting worse. They've got to pay back to the bank with interest. the value of their currency that they're holding in their bank is constantly being devalued. These people don't know about investing in gold and silver. Okay, the scriptures talk about Genesis 13, real wealth. Let's read that. What's real, wealth? Genesis 13, verse 2. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. It didn't say he was rich in FRNs, okay, or whatever the Babylonian, the Sumer, whatever the currency. No, he said it was rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Cattle means what? You've got land to graze that cattle. Okay, that's infinite resources of what? Milk, meat. Okay, leather. Okay, sheep, whatever, lamb, whatever, man. Cattle. Silver and gold. That's why silver and gold still holds weight. In times of economic distress, silver and gold go a long way, man. Okay, they always say that. Now the silver and the gold prices are being manipulated. Okay, and they're worth a lot more than they are. Okay, but they're being manipulated. But that's what's stable in these times. You see what's happening with silver. There's a silver shortage. Okay, at least I can speak for over here in the UK. There's been a shortage of silver coming through. Okay. I said it was to do with India and supply, demand, and all that. But you know what, man? Hey, it just shows you what real economy is, man. So that's going back to the scriptures. Investors should not believe they have seen everything, because that's what investors always say. We've seen everything. The stock market's crashed, it's come back, right? From previous financial crisis, the letter warned, the sudden end to cheap money has made possible a set of outcomes that would be at or beyond the boundaries of the entire post-World War II period. Now, let's look into that. Let's type in World War II. Here it is. I typed it in earlier. Right? Post-World War II inflation. Prices also surged after World War II ended in 1947. Inflation jumped to over 20%. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the rapid post-war inflationary episode was caused by the elimination of price controls, supply shortages. You got a supply shortage of eggs right now in the UK. All right? And pent-up demand. So you got a bunch of people that demand. You got supply shortages. Okay? You got manufacturing issues. You got power plants malfunctioning. You got food plants and processing plants being put on fire, having airplanes going through them. You got people getting laid off. You got the cost of living is going up, but the wages that they're getting paid is not going up in line with the inflation. Okay, the very currency that they're using is being devalued. So this place is done, man. It's done. It's circling the drain. Okay, the guy said at the start of that when you read it. Let's go back to the Telegraph. When you read it at the start, he said what? He said it's on the path to societal collapse. Okay? So this place is spiraling out of control, man. Okay? But really, that's the chaos that these international elite want, so they can bring about their new system. Okay? The new digital system. So, that's it on that. Now, let me get a couple of scriptures. Okay, we read a couple of scriptures already. I want to get 2 Ezra 16. Verse 17, it says, woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? So, Ezra was seeing what? Crazy, chaotic times, man. Okay, these are the end times. Jacob's trouble. Okay, all of that. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. Famine, man. Why? Because people ain't going to be able to eat. Okay, it's going to be hell out there, man. That's why people are going to be going at each other's throats. When you read it in 2 Ezra 15, because of the lack of bread and great tribulation, a man's going to go at each other with a sword for the lack of bread. Okay, what does that mean? What's a modern day sword? A gun. People are going to be going through houses. People are going to be ganging up. Okay. Stealing people's food, stealing people's, resources, whatever, gold, silver, all of that, man. The beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Esdras was saying this, a man of the Lord, man. That's how terrifying it was. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of their scourges. Okay, no one says, well, you know what, hey, Yahweh Shemiel Shai is judging this place for its wickedness. Okay, you don't see that on the news. Or they don't say, well, you know what, the Messiah is returning, Yahweh Shai is returning. We got that. No, that's not happening, man. Okay, so this place is only going to get worse, and it's going to get more and more scourged until Yahweh Shai returns and lays a smackdown on this society. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. You know, like that guy was saying, the era of ultra cheap money. Just being able to get everything you need. And shall think themselves to be in good case. So they think they're themselves in good case. Even to this day, people are in, you got these economic warnings coming out by these economic weathermen, all right? But people ain't taking heed. They're still going out and getting more into debt. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So that's going to lead to what? Martial law, man. Okay? That chaos of people losing their jobs, the grinders ceasing, okay? Not being able to purchase food for your family, okay? What's people going to do, man? They're going to start getting desperate. They're going to start looting. They're going to start... You see what people do on Black Friday sales. How much more when everything's going crazy? You had the riots over here in, what was that, 2000 and... Damn. What was that, 2011? Roughly around that time. You had the riots over here, man. Okay? And people were, that started to spread, man. Okay? That even spread to other countries with people doing the uproars. You got the Gilets Jaunes. People were uproars all over the world. Okay? Let me keep reading this. I'm going to get another scripture on that. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. So many people are going to die from starvation. And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Okay, people are also going to be dying from what? People killing each other. Okay, they're going to be dying from the troops, the martial law troops, the NATO troops. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. All right, so we're going into the time of war. Now, let me quickly just jump from there to 2nd Esdras 9. 2nd Esdras got a lot of, the chapters on Jacob's trouble, man. 2nd Esdras 9 verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So this is this is all prophecy, man, that's playing out. This is prophecy that's playing out, and that's what's going to happen, man. The Lord is visiting this place with these prophecies, okay, these different judgments, okay. You got uproars of the people all over the place, man. Okay, you got war, war in different places. You got inflation. This entire empire is looking to implode on itself, man. Okay, this Roman system. And what they're going to look to do is the elites want to bring forth that new system. Okay. Now, are they going to fully be able to implement it? Or are they going to have us in slavery forever? Okay, let's read it. This is Job chapter 20, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Shemiel Shai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating. Okay. And when you read about Job 20, it talks about the wicked. Verse 5, that the triumph of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So really, man, their triumphness is short, man. Okay, this is a little season that they've been loosed, these couple centuries. Now we're at the end of this thing, man. Okay, the Lord is looking to deliver his people. Okay, starting with the elect of the nation of Israel. The elected of the nation of Israel are going to be saved from this coming destruction, man. Okay, we're going to be good. All right. When I say we are the hopeful elect. The elect are going to be fine, man. Okay. In this time, and even us, the scripture say, the righteous shall be scarcely saved. Even us, we're going to be, but it's all a test of our faith. So we're coming into real crazy times, man. Okay, and it's all over the news. It's all over the society. You can see it when you go out, and hey, we've got very little time, so this is the time to get right with Yahweh Shemiel Shai and repent, man, and take this thing seriously. So with that, man, Lord willing, that's been an edifying lesson in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shai Bashim Kakadash. With that, man, I'm going to say shalom. Shalom to the elect.